Hello YouTube, Trademark Kill here, and today we have another RWBY Talk video for the penultimate episode of Volume 4, Chapter 11. And we had one doozy of an episode actually, because we got all the characters in one episode, including Cinder. So it was a huge lore bomb episode because we see Cinder trying to learn her powers, we see Yang painting her gauntlet and her Embercelica, or at least repainting them in terms of the Embercelica, and painting her gauntlet her signature yellow color, and finding and unveiling Bumblebee, her bike, in the garage right before her father confronts her about and asking her where she's going. We get Weiss's grand escape from the Schnee company, or Schnee family manor. We get the final balling up of Blake and her movement forward that kind of foils a lot of my plans, and we get further down the line to Team RWBY, or Team Ranger, sorry, where they've preparing for their final battle. So a lot of the stuff was kind of more straightforward. We do know Weiss is going to Mistral. We do know from the sound of it that possibly Blake is also going to Mistral. So it seems like everyone's naturally going to Mistral right now, because Weiss is going to Mistral because her sister's in Mistral right now. Blake's going to Mistral because I believe that's where the leader of the White Fang is, because they found out that Adam is planning to overthrow the leader of the White Fang. So they're going to stop that and take back the White Fang for themselves. In terms of Blake's, Yang, they left you a little bit of a cliffhanger with Yang, because they tell Yang has been told where her mother has been hanging out recently. We don't know if she was told that was Mistral, but we also know that RWBY's in Mistral right now, so we don't know if those two are if she's going to hunt for her sister who's in Mistral, or if she's going for her mother. And the last information she has on her mother was that her mother was in Mistral. We don't know that yet. That's kind of up in the air. We don't know what exact information she has. It's possible that both people, her mother and RWBY, are in Mistral, so she's going to Mistral anyway. But from the sounds of it, there's some mixed information on where she could be going. And of course, RWBY are trying to get Crow rescued, and they're moving on their way to try to get to Mistral when the Horseman of the Apocalypse Grim attacks and raises his ugly head, which is going to be kind of the center point of the episode, because I feel like this is where all lines diverge back to RWBY. So from the sounds of it, that Atlas is worried that Mistral is forming some sort of army, or getting ready to prepare for war of some sort. So that's information is coming from Winter, who is either undercover or in a Atlas embassy in Mistral. So whatever's happening there, that could actually lead to a situation where during the fight or after the fight with the Horseman of the Apocalypse Grim, regardless of what happens, you get the situation where, because there's going to be a lot of explosion and ruckus, and from what we know, we're almost right outside of the Mistral area, so there's going to be a lot of ruckus caused by this fight. We could get Winter to investigate the fight because of explosions, because of the ruckus, if not Mistral as a whole to go and investigate, which could bring RWBY and Team Ranger, or what will be left of Team Ranger, into the custody of Mistral, and possibly Crow would be probably be in intensive care if he survives that long. Now, that would mean that as Weiss is trying to meet up with Winter has the custody of RWBY. Yang goes to Mistral first to search for her mom, finds out about RWBY, and they kind of all coincidentally go there and meet up with each other, which is probably what's going to look like what's going to happen in Volume 5. And I'm kind of anticipating something alluding to that at the end of the episode next week, when we get the final episode of this season. So let's just get into it. We know that, from what it seems, is Weiss is free and clear to leave. Blake, I don't understand, because in the opening cinematic for the volume, there's a Blake and Adam fight. Issue being is that we haven't gotten that fight yet, but that might not be like an official fight. That could have just been kind of one of the first scenes they throw in, because a lot of the scenes in those opening cinematics are from the volume and that have yet to come in the volume. That's the only scene we have not seen yet, and other than the fight in the forest with the Grimm, from Team Ranger is a part of. So maybe it's time to kind of push that to the side and realize that they're doing a much more separate opening cinematic or opening credits to the volume that's not good, that's not as related to the actual story, because I don't think we're going to get a Blake versus Adam fight here, especially since we had the setup where Blake's going to take the fight to Adam now. Don't think that's going to happen. See, the biggest storyline we have going for us right now is Team Ranger. And basically the situation right now is they are preparing for basically the boss fight of the chapter of the volume with the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. This was the same Grimm that was responsible, or the majority responsible, for the fall of Kyururi, which we now know as Ren and Nora, or at least Ren's hometown, Nora's. We're still a little shady on her complete backstory, but we still have a little bit of time to get that. Now, I do not think Ren and Nora, at least Ren definitely is going to make it out of this situation. Here's why. A lot of the story that we're getting for Team Ranger, or at least the former Team Juniper now, has been stated to kind of come out of the woodwork because they were not meant to be as big of a role as they were back in the first two volumes. They ended up being hugely popular with fans, so they brought them along a little bit more. They built them up as characters a little bit more, and that, other than Jean, we've seen. So the odds of them keeping Nora and Ren around is kind of slim, because again, Pyrrha, Ren, and Nora were not supposed to last as long, but because they are fan favorites, they decided to keep them around and build more story around them. So with that being said, it won't be surprising if we lose one, specifically Ren, in kind of a fit of heroism, because right now he seems scared shitless at this Grimm and what's the fight that's about to come. I would not be surprised if in a like flashback sequence, when he remembers his father saying, "Take actions, my son," in that sequence, that's when he sacrifices himself or something along those lines to get rid of that character, so he can slowly work towards the Jean and RWBY kind of relationship that we kind of all know is developing in season 1. And they teased a little bit recently in the last episode, I believe, with the heart-to-heart conversation they had when Ren and Nora were up the mountain. So I won't be surprised if the sequence of events happen and this fight happens, Ren or Nora, if not both, do fall, and that triggers Silver Eyes, or that triggers Jean's semblance, or a mixture of both. They finally defeat the Grimm with all the ruckus. Atlas investigation team, or Mistral investigation team, comes down to investigate, finds 4 Beacon students, and actually 5 if Crow's still there, but Crow's injured. 5 Beacon students come down. They find 5 people from Beacon, arrest them for being out of fear of the war that's apparently Mistral is building up and gearing up towards. Whether they're going to initiate the war or defend from a possible war is yet to be is on the fence. But it won't be surprised if they take action against Team Ranger, the remnants of Team Ranger, in order to protect themselves, whether it's Atlas directly or whether it is related to Mistral, depending on who wants to take action there. That is possibly what we're looking at the end of chapter 12. And as I said, all lines probably are going to diverge towards them kind of freeing or trying to prove RWBY's innocence next volume, with Crow or Winter or Weiss doing a lot of investigating. Probably not Crow. I don't think he's going to be much involved. If he doesn't die this volume, it's possible that he's going to be still out of commission, recovering next volume, because he's going to probably be portrayed as the leader because he's the oldest and most experienced. They're going to want to get him healthy to start questioning and interrogating him on why 5 Beacon students are here on Atlas property without, wandering around the hills in a former, yeah, you know, fallen Mistral town, why are there, why are they roaming around Mistral, and blah blah blah. They're probably gonna want it, so Crow might live and only to be like interrogated and questioned, as because he would be portrayed as the leader of the group. So all lines will diverge back to RWBY through this investigation that will be happening of Team Ranger and Crow. So Weiss will probably find out through Winter, because Winter will, whether they're involved or not, whether they're the ones who captured Team Ranger, will know about it, because she's, kind of undercover right now, investigating Mistral. Weiss will probably coincidentally meet up with Blake or Yang, possibly. I still think Blake is going to be kind of the solo character for a little while longer. So she's going to, but I do believe that we're at least going to have the three girls of Weiss, Yang, and RWBY together for the next volume, as Blake probably goes on her solo or duo mission with Sun to try and retake the White Fang and take control of them again. And as I said, I think we'll have some sort of allusion to that in the next chapter, but then we'll have to wait till volume 5, of course, to actually get more development on that. As I said, I don't think Ren or Nora, if not both, are going to make it, because of how much more development they had, because they're fan favorites, and because they're so much more of a fan favorite, and because of the backstory we have on them now. I would not doubt that if they're going to pull out our hearts again, like they did with Apira, and kill one, if not both, of those characters off. It will also give a lot more motivation for RWBY and Jean, and to kind of start seeing this will actually create a lot of interesting stuff. And maybe they don't die, but maybe we get Jean's semblance or something. But there's going to be an awakening happening here again. So I'm just waiting on trying to... I'm just waiting. I do believe we might have another character death. It might be Crow, it might be Ren or Nora. So I know my field is right now a lot big right now, but if I had to put them from least likely to most likely, the least likely would be Nora, second middle one would be Ren, and most likely to die would be Crow in this situation. Because even though, as I said, they might, if they do save Crow, it would be for him to be interrogated when he heals up from the poison. But thank you guys for watching. Just a quick note, next week I might be late on my episode. I'm going to knee surgery on Tuesday, so I might not feel the best when we do the final episode, but as I heal, I'll make sure I get my overall chapter review done, and I'll get a whole bunch of the other stuff I usually do every RWBY done, but I do not know if I'll be able to release on Saturday. I might have to release on Monday or something after my knee surgery, because I don't know how I'll feel. That'll be less than a week of recovery time, so I'll have to see how I feel. But I will get an episode 12 talk video out for you guys. It might be on Monday though, so it might be a day later, because I usually release these on Sundays. So, as I said, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, Trimmer goes out. Peace.